Zambrano's ready, and his first pitch is off the inside corner on a fastball. We are underway.
Mentioned the speedy Willie Taveras at the top of this Reds order. His speed not as much of a factor with Zambrano on the mound. He really nullifies the opposing team's running game with his quick delivery to home plate.
That's low, 2-1. The Reds could not touch Z last year. It was 4-0. With a 1.20 ERA. Terrio takes care of Taveras. And as you said during our pregame coverage, Harang and Zambrano starting against one another for the 7th time. He's going to get rid of the necklace. Careful. Patrick Bruno on the catch. Be careful with that jewelry.
Yeah, that wasn't made out of macaroni shells or anything. That was the real deal there, Patrick. Be careful.
Here's Chris Dickerson playing left. Knee-high strike. Get 0-2.
Well, so far a good strike zone for Big Z. You called that knee-high strike. First pitch to Dickerson. Nasty sinker right there. Guy bombing toward the dirt. If he gets that low strike all day, could be a good day for the Cubs.
He's 14-9 in his career against the Reds. ERA just over 3. It's a team he's seen a lot, even though the Reds have changed quite a bit. Reds are trying to avoid their 9th straight losing season as he strikes out Dickerson. First strikeout for Carlos. And Joey Votto coming up.
Look at the movement on that pitch. Starts it on the outside corner, ends up nearly in the dirt over in that right-handed batter's box. Dickerson trying to protect the plate, chases a bad pitch.
Joey Votto 6 out of 17 against Zambrano. Takes it low and outside. The Reds' last winning campaign was in 2000 under Jack McKeon. Since then, they've had 6 different managers. Off the glove of Fontenot, and Votto has a hit. He takes a big turn. He's going to try to get to second, and he will. It'll be a double for Joey Votto. That was a hustle double all the way.
The tip of the cap to Joey Votto. That's why you run everything out hard. Mike Fontenot with that diving attempt up the middle of the field could only get a piece of it, and unfortunately deflected it away from Kosuke Fukudome. He had to change directions out there in center field. You'll see him react to the ball, running over toward the gap in right center. Has to change directions, and by the time he gets to it, Votto hustled in with a double.
Big cut by Encarnacion. Strike one. Edwin batting 4th for the 2nd straight game. Phillips moved down a couple of spots.
And that hustle double is especially important with 2 outs in the inning because Votto put himself into scoring position for Encarnacion.
The Reds got Encarnacion from Texas in 2001. He will take his walks, but he's down 0-2. And a foul tip, strike 3. So Z gives up the double with 2 outs. But fans, a cleanup man, Encarnacion. Soriano, Terrio, and Fukudome will lead it off against Aaron Harang when we come back. Pinella. Soriano, Terrio, and Fukudome 1 through 3. Lee cleaning up. Ramirez 4th in the NL with those 14 RBIs. Hoffpower in for Bradley and right. Soto catching. Fontenot at second base batting 8th. And Big Z still looking for that first hit of the year.
Take a look at the Reds' Home Depot defense. Dickerson, Taveras, and Bruce once again across the outfield. Encarnacion, Gonzalez on the left side of the infield. Phillips and Votto on the right side. Ramon Hernandez behind the plate for right-hander Aaron Harang.
He's a big dude, not quite as big as he was last year. He did lose a little weight in the offseason. After a tough 2008, and he starts Soriano with a strike. He dropped over 30 pounds over the winter. At one point last year, he was up to 284. He dealt with a forearm strain. And he gets Soriano to pop it up as Gonzalez backs up into the outfield grass and makes a catch. Aaron Harang might be the entire key to the Reds season because they need him to be their ace again.
Well, and in the past, he has pitched as an ace, along with Johnny Cueto that we saw last night, Edinson Volquez, Bronson Arroyo, who's been tough on the Cubs throughout his career. If Aaron Harang is on top of his game, it makes that Reds rotation a lot more formidable.
Either way you want to put it.
He'll feature a fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. Fastball will sit in the high 80s, low 90s. He's more of a command guy than a power pitcher.
Had a complete game shutout against the Pirates 2 starts ago. He's only allowed 1 home run in now 20 in a third innings. He's only walked 4. Terrio lifts it in the air to right center for Taveras and the out. Here comes Kosuke, 2 outs, nobody on. One of, I think, the more fascinating notes in terms of league leaders last season. Most losses in the majors. There were 3 guys who had 17 losses. Aaron Harang, Justin Verlander, and Barry Zito. Those are 3 names that would surprise you. You know, Zito has had struggles over the past few years, but Verlander and Harang? Wow. The year before, he won 16.
3/5 of a pretty good rotation right there. I mean, based on what they've done in the past. You mentioned Zito's had his struggles the last couple of years, but a pretty solid track record.
Outside 3-0 on Fukudome. Lee on deck. Harang free and easy. 3-1. Harang is 6'7". He's listed at 261. Might be a little lower than that.
I think so. And like everybody else in this world, you lose a little weight, your body tends to function more properly. You can get your arm in a better angle. Your legs are going to stay under you a lot deeper into the ball game.
Right at Phillips on a line for the third out. Harang didn't break a sweat in the first. 0-0. underway in the second. A foul strike on Jay Bruce. One hit. That was a double by Votto. Zambrano's 0-1. Outside 1-1. Z looking for his 98th career win. 214th career start. After Bruce, it'll be Brandon Phillips and then the catcher Ramon Hernandez. On the ground, sending Terrio behind second. No problem. Ticket sales are at a record pace, but plenty of tickets are still available for the 2009 season. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Number 31 will join those flags. The foul poles coming up on the next homestand. Fergie Jenkins and Greg Maddux will be here. Have number 31 retired. It's a week from Sunday against the Florida Marlins. Strike on Phillips, who snapped an 0 for 22 last night. Roster move today. Jeff Samardzija is up from AAA Iowa. Luis Vizcaino designated for assignment. Samardzija made a couple of starts, and he should be available today. This would have been his throw day with Iowa. Can't miss him down in the bullpen with the hair.
No, he stands out down there. I asked him if Lou said anything about his hair, and he said, no, not yet. And I said, well, as long as you throw strikes, he probably won't. I mean, kudos to Jeff Samardzija to go down to Iowa the way he did and work on the things he needed to work on, get his innings in down there, get his arm strength up. It would have been very easy for a guy who pitched so effectively up here at the major league level last year to pout a little bit, be upset that he got sent back to AAA. Of course, it was just a numbers thing. He had options left. It was an easy move to make, but rather than pout and sulk, he went down to AAA and pitched well enough that he earned this recall very early in the season.
So Vizcaino a little bit in limbo right now after being designated. Something else will happen with him in the next 10 days, and we'll let you know.
Well, and it wasn't widely reported, but Luis Vizcaino had some tardiness problems that I'm sure didn't enhance his chances to stay here with the Cubs. And you know, that coupled with what we talked about earlier, just what seemed to be like a shortness in stuff as Zambrano punches out Brandon Phillips with a good slider, 2 down. His stuff was just a little short, even though he was getting good results early in the season. You had to be concerned about down the road. It's that front door slider, starts it just off the plate inside, breaks it back to the inside corner, and gets the desired reaction from the hitter. Phillips locking out those knees, thought that pitch was going to be inside off the plate.
2 retired. It's catcher Hernandez. He and Soto have gone the whole way in this series. Off the plate inside. Going up to 97 on our gun. I was going to ask this last night, but you think Ramon Hernandez's razor gave out before he was finished shaving? Interesting look. Fukudome will catch it on the move. And that'll end the Reds' second. Derek Lee will lead off the Cubs' second when we return.
Thursday, April 30th at 7:05. Make sure you get there early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs car flag, compliments of Pepsi.
Great to see the kids here with the cotton candy. And our Menards Big Lumber stat is Derek Lee will dig in. 5 homers and 46 career chances against today's Red starter. Right to the shortstop, Gonzalez. Derek should know better than anyone, to borrow your line from the other day. No way to make a living hitting ground balls to guys like Alex Gonzalez.
No, but I think you're going to see a lot of the Cubs hitters attack Aaron Harang early in the sequence. He likes to challenge with that first fastball away, try to get ahead in the count, and then use his breaking pitches to expand the strike zone. And as we've talked at length already today, these Cubs hitters should know Aaron Harang very well. That's what he likes to do. You see Hernandez out on that outside corner. Try to go strike one with a fastball away and then work from there.
Excellent homestand for Aramis. 10 for 21, a homer, a double, a walk, hit by a pitch, 8 RBIs, 3 runs, making 11 hits.
Not only a base hit, but very nearly took the Red starter out of this ball game. That is a head seeker right there. Get down. Not easy for a 6'7" pitcher that weighs over 250 pounds to get out of the way of that one.
Off power back in there. 5th time the last 6 games he has now started in right. Milton Bradley, we talked about it all last night, clearly was not 100% coming back from the groin injury. A lot of fly balls out to right, a lot of foul flies that he was unable to get to. Didn't really get down the line on a broken bat ground ball. And Lou had him in his office today and basically said, when you're 100%, you'll be back in there. And he's going to move him down to the 6th spot just to take a little pressure off him. Milton is available to pinch hit today.
And as far as that move down in the lineup when Milton does return to the starting lineup, it's very similar to what Dusty Baker has done with Brandon Phillips. Phillips was the cleanup hitter for the Reds to start the season, but has struggled a little bit with the bat in the early going. So in order to try to take a little bit of pressure off, you move him down in the lineup where at least psychologically they don't feel the need to carry the load for the team.
And I didn't ask, and it really doesn't matter, but if this were an American League team, it's possible you could have kept Bradley in the lineup as a DH, and he did that last year. But you've got to run a lot out and right. As Encarnacion took a look at the barrier, and he'll make the catch right near the corner there where those front 3 rows jut out onto the playing surface. 2 outs.
Well, and you know, Len, it just seems like when a player goes out there and tries to play through an injury, the ball is going to find it. A couple of bloopers hit out into shallow right field last night. I don't think Milton could have had a play on any of the balls that were hit out that direction, but it was just very apparent that he couldn't get up to full speed quickly enough to make those plays.
2 outs in the inning. Here's Soto. The kick and the pitch just missed. I have to figure Coy Hill will get a start maybe in the next series. Soto missing time with the right shoulder. But with all these games in a row without an off day, I'm sure Lou will get Hill back in there. And you don't want Coy Hill to cool off too much. He was hot at the plate.
Well, I know Coy Hill's anticipating some playing time. I saw him down in the clubhouse today putting a new layer of tape on all of his bats. You know, he's talking about that surgically repaired right hand, and depending on the weather conditions, some days he gets a better grip. On colder days it's a little harder, so he's got to change the tape on his bats underneath his right hand so he can get a better grip on that bat.
Long pause by Harang. Now the pitch. 2-2 on Gio. The Cubs last night had 6 hits, but they were all singles. It was the first time this year they did not have an extra base hit.
What did Harry used to call that? The Rush Street offense? All singles, no scoring?
I like it. A lot of ways that could go. I'm just going to leave it.
I will just leave it there.
3-2. Fontenot on deck. Ramirez will get a head start with the pitch. There he goes. Ball 4.
We showed you the offensive numbers for the Cubs in the early going this season in the open of the show. And as you said, Len, good numbers, not great numbers, not bad numbers, but good numbers. But one very encouraging sign is once again some great at-bats, taking the base on balls, working some deep counts. If you continue to do that, you'll put yourself in good hitters counts where you can get a pitch to really drive.
Fontenot got off to a really good start. It's cooled off on the homestand. You have to think possibly, there's an adjustment period here for Mike. He has been given the lion's share of the playing time at second. And Bob, psychologically, for a guy like Fontenot, who's had to work so hard to get to this spot, can it affect you mentally to know that, you can go for 4 or for 5, and I'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow? I mean, I guess you can relax a little bit, but I'm sure you also want to press and show the manager he made the right decision in giving you all this playing time.
I'm sure that's a part of it. I think more so it's just the fact that the league has seen more of Mike Fontenot. They've had more videotape collected on Mike Fontenot. Have a better idea of what he's capable of doing up there at the plate and how you want to attack him to get him out. I think that's probably the main thing. He was able to sneak up on people last year. Not anymore. I mean, we talk about advance meetings all the time, and it's pretty much customary that you go over the starting lineup for the opposing team in great detail. And you go over the bench players, a very cursory scouting report. Watch the first pitch, throwing breaking balls in the dirt when you get ahead in the count. Move along to the next guy. If you're a bench player coming into the ball game and they don't really know how to pitch you, you can take advantage of that.
360 spin by Phillips and a good toss to Votto to end the inning. A single, a walk, but no runs. Still scoreless after 2. Cubs post-game live. Get highlights of all the action, analysis from Todd Hollandsworth, and check in on Lou Pinella's post-game remarks. Don't miss Lowe's Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. I know they'll be tuning in. Just texting all of her friends. Hollandsworth. It'll take her a while, but she'll get there. As Aramis Ramirez throws out Alex Gonzalez.
You know, Len, I mentioned the Cubs hitters would probably attack Harang early in the sequence. I think you're going to see the same thing from the Reds hitters against Zambrano. When you face a pitcher you've seen so many times in the past, there really aren't any secrets. Carlos is not going to come up with a new pitch. He's not going to try to change his arm angle or his delivery. It's just all about execution after you've seen a team so many times, and the Reds know Carlos wants to get ahead just like Harang does with that first pitch fastball.
Normally we try to give you as much information and analysis as we can and scouting reports, but I'm not going to give you anything on Aaron Harang. We talked about Johnny Cueto and his lack of hitting prowess last night. He had 2 hits. There you go. Harang grounds out. Now 0 for 6 on the season. Visit the legendary Harry Carey's Italian Steakhouse and Harry Carey's Tavern in Wrigleyville, where Ernie Banks and Ryan Sandberg hang their hats. Call 773-HOLY-COW and visit harrycareys.com today. We understand Dave Bush is no-hitting the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park through 6. It's 5-0 Brewers in the top of the 7th. Well, that would be something, a no-hitter in that ballpark. Ooh. He has walked 3. He has struck out 4. Cole Hamels only went 3 1/3 today, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. And threw just 45 pitches. That makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Very interesting.
Here's the 1-1 to Taveras. That's low.
Offensively for the Brewers, and Braun with his 4th home run of the season in that game.
Nothing on the wire yet regarding Hamels. Easy 1, 2, 3, 8-pitch third for Carlos. He'll lead off the bottom of the inning. Go back to last night, top of the 4th. Jay Bruce with a ground ball to the first baseman Derek Lee. Very close at the bag.
Just one extra step for Ted Lilly as he reached out that right foot, tried to beat the runner to the bag. It was very close, but it looked like the umpire got the call right.
He was safe, and that was an infield hit.
Ooh.
Freeze can. It's cool breeze. Here's Zambrano. In a 0-0 tie. Outside ball one. Great quote from the current edition of Vineline, which is just out. Kosuke Fukudome is on the cover. Fly ball to left. Dickerson heads over towards the line, and it went off the wall. Maybe a fan touched it. It's foul. We know that. Good effort by Dickerson. Let's see.
Yeah, wind pushing that ball further into foul territory. Dickerson stays with it. It actually hit the heel of his glove and then hit the sidewall. Very close to being a fair ball. It's not where Dickerson is, it's where the ball is when he makes contact with it. And that time Lance Barksdale, the third base umpire, got down the line to get a real good look at it and determined it was a foul ball.
So the quote from Z in Vineline, he said, "I don't know the bunt sign." He said 2 Silver Slugger awards, and then he added, "Just kidding." And he takes an awkward swing, foul tips into the glove. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah, he's had it wound up a couple times already this year to break over his knee, but so far has been able to keep it under control. Just foul tip that ball into the glove of Ramon Hernandez, and watch out.
Not over your neck. So Cole Hamels got knocked out. He got hit by a line drive off the bat of Prince Fielder. So we'll have more details when we know more. So that's why he got taken out early. And was off his pitching arm. That caught the outside corner on a nifty slider. 0-2 on Soriano. He's only 4 for 23 against Harang, but he's hit in 9 straight and in 12 of the first 13 games of the season. Crowd's a front part of the batter's box. Really leans in as Hernandez slides toward the outside part of the plate, and it's sliced foul.
Hernandez actually was sliding out toward the outside of the left-handed batter's box that time. Really wanted Harang to keep that slider off of the outside corner. We know that Fonzie occasionally can be susceptible to that pitch. Look how far off the plate he's sitting.
Now you only have to have 1 foot in that box, right, as a catcher? He's about halfway out. That's fair. And Soriano will have that elusive extra base hit. First one for the Cubs since Tuesday. It's a 1-out double.
Back to the front door with a breaking ball that time. Left it up around the belt. Soriano with another one of those top spin grounders. He's hit a lot of those lately that have got through the left side. This one right down the third base line for a double.
A 10-gamer now for Soriano, and it's Ryan Theriot.
When Harang had runners at first base, he'd come to his set position. His hands were the first thing to move. And once again with a runner at second, same thing. Usually a pitcher tries to start his delivery in unison. The front foot comes up, the hands start moving, everything goes together so that base runner can't get an extraordinary jump. But if you watch Aaron Harang, those hands start up well before his foot. And we've seen Soriano jumping around at second base when he's been on back there. He looks like he wants to run. With that in mind, the Reds are going to check on him back there. Gonzalez breaks in behind as Harang just steps off the rubber.
And Hernandez will go out and chat with his pitcher. While we have the opportunity. We want to send out our condolences to the family of Gene Handley, longtime Cubs scout going back to 1955. Gene passed away last week. He was integral in signing guys like Greg Maddux and Mark Grace for the Chicago Cubs, and he was an infielder, played for the Philadelphia Athletics under Connie Mack. So our sympathies go out to Gene's entire family.
And on a lighter note, happy birthday wishes go out to Sarah Welker. I ran into Sarah's mother out on the concourse before the ball game today. She was in a panic. She didn't have anything to write on, so I said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. Happy birthday, Sarah.
All right. Happy 28th birthday, Amy Sisson and Cubs Accounting. And now they have Soriano in a pickle. Gonzalez will tag him. Caught stealing 1 to 5 to 6, and the Cubs now, while they've stolen 7, they've been caught 6 times. That's not a good percentage.
That's a great equalizer when you have a disjointed delivery, as Aaron Harang does. That inside move where you pick up the front foot and spin all the way around to second base is one thing that will slow down the running game at second. Soriano saw the hands came up, he broke for third base, and then the inside move caught him. Some teams call that a spaghetti move because the pitcher kind of gets twisted around, his leg spinning back towards second base over his plant leg. I think it's mostly referred to as an inside move to second base.
Lazy fly, and Taveras will handle it, and that's it. 1 out double, but Soriano got picked off. Terrio flies out, and still nothing. Pitcher's duel early on. Talk about Reds and the hits board. Everybody pretty much should know that Pete Rose is their all-time leader. But who's second on that list? Reds have been around pretty much longer than anybody in baseball history. So who's the second man on that list behind Pete Rose?
We'll have to eliminate ourselves because we talked about this earlier today and made several guesses before we finally figured it out, or you figured it out rather.
Both these teams go all the way back to the origination of the National League, 1876. The oldest pro franchise in baseball was known as the Cincinnati Red Stockings. They played in the first pro baseball game ever. May 4th, 1869. They beat the Great Westerns of Cincinnati 45-9. 3-1 on Dickerson. The Red Stockings would go on to win their first 130 games before losing to the Brooklyn Athletics in extra innings in 1870. That's very deep near the well, and Hoffpower can't catch it. And Dickerson is going to end up at least at third. Better have a clean exchange here as he gets it to Fontenot to keep Dickerson from rounding the bases. It's his first triple of the season. And he's at third with nobody out.
Fastball middle of the plate, in and down a little bit for Dickerson. Micah kind of got turned around a little bit. That ball hit right in that well area. And we talked about the wind blowing across from right to left. Dickerson broke it down a little bit there, getting ready to go into his home run trot, but then has to shift gears and ends up at third base with a stand-up triple. And Micah got turned around a little bit. The wind pushed that ball back away from him. He got looking back over his shoulder in an awkward position. The sun played a factor in it as well. He's got his work cut out trying to pitch around that leadoff triple.
Cornermen are in. Ramirez more than Lee, with Votto at the plate. They're back up the middle. They'll concede the run to get the first out. It's 2-0. Votto doubled his first time. Went after that high pitch, and he foul tipped it 2-1.
Occasionally you'll see teams swing at a lot of high fastballs from Zambrano. The book on Carlos is make him get the ball up. The sinker, the splitter, the pitches that he throws down at the bottom of the zone, you're just going to beat him into the ground most of the time anyway. Like that.
Bobble by Lee, but that will keep Dickerson at third. Derek had to pretty much keep his eyes on Dickerson the entire time during that play. Dickerson faked toward the plate more than once.
You get another look at it here. Comes off the bag a couple steps initially. Derek took a look at him and had to think about throwing home again, and finally just puts the tag on Votto. That's actually pretty good aggressive base running by Dickerson.
Now everybody will come in with Encarnacion at the plate. It might not have made a difference. Should Votto have stopped and made Derek at least go to the bag instead of apply that tag?
Or maybe for possibly one of the few times it's right to slide into first base, make Derek go down and tag you on the ground. If you want to give that runner at third base an opportunity to possibly score on that grounder, that might be one way to go about it.
They appealed down to first, and Adrian Johnson said Encarnacion held up. 2-0. Albert Pujols today 3 for 3, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, 9 total bases. It's now 6-2 Cardinals over the Mets in the 5th. He has 2 home runs. Maybe he'll get it out of his system today.
Yeah.
Knocking around Livan Hernandez.
Well, the problem with Pujols is he usually doesn't get it out of his system until sometime in October. Usually takes about 6 months for it to run its course.
Ball 4. Does set up a double play opportunity. Jay Bruce coming up. Want to see a Cubs game from the front row here at Wrigley Field? Now you can. Visit Cubs.com and click on the CBOE Front Row Seats auction to bid on tickets in the very front row behind home plate and along the first base line. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long. Don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com. Check out the CBOE front row seats auction today. Pretty good spot right there. Cubs are in double play depth on their infield. Ball one. They've been patient in this inning against Z. He's trying to keep this game scoreless.
Walk to Encarnacion, not all bad, Len. As you mentioned, it sets up a potential double play, and rather than give in to Encarnacion with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, make him either chase a bad pitch or take the walk and then go to work on Jay Bruce and try to get that ground ball you're looking for to get a double play.
And you'd rather not walk 2 to load the bases, but a righty on deck. You know how tough Z is against righties, and a guy who's been struggling in Brandon Phillips. No, that's not going to happen. As Bruce knocks in another. Jay Bruce with 4 RBIs in the series. It's 1-0 Reds.
And we were talking earlier about Mike Fontenot and how he kind of snuck up on the league last year, and I think Jay Bruce is going through a little bit of that in the early going this season. Of course, we saw him last year. I have a pretty good idea what he's all about, but he has taken advantage of every mistake that opposing pitchers make on him and hitting the ball really hard.
Well, Jay Bruce is 22. He's going to be around for a long time. Up the middle, and it'll go 4-3. Well, good thing Z didn't touch that ball and deflect it, because it went right to Fontenot. So he gets out of it after giving up 1. A leadoff triple ultimately resulted in a run, but he gets the bouncer for a double play. 1-0 Reds. Pete Rose with over 3,300 hits as a Red. That's at the top of their all-time hit list. Who's second on that list? We got in about, what, the 6th or 7th guess?
Yeah.
Barry Larkin with 2,340. I think we mentioned the other 3.
I think we did, along with Ed Armbrister, one of my guesses.
Strike on Kosuke. Cubs trail 1-0. Hey, do you like my hand?
I'll tell you, Len, I had the great fortune or misfortune, however you look at it, to play against Pete Rose very late in his career. And even at that point, he was a guy we talk about all the time. Don't give away at bats. It didn't matter if it was a 12-0 game in the 9th inning with 2 outs and nobody on base, or whether it was a tie game in the 9th inning with the tying run at third. He was going to grind out every pitch of every at bat. Exaggerated crouch stance, choked up on the bat, right on top of the plate, wearing the old school no flap helmet.
Two balls, two strikes. Driven into right for a leadoff single for Kosuke. Third hit for the Cubs.
Kosuke looks a lot more balanced at the plate this year. I've talked about it before. When he swings and misses, he will spin out of that batter's box, and it can look very awkward at times, but when he makes good solid contact, he's got tremendous balance. Driving a lot of balls with authority to right field early in the season this year.
The pitch to Derek Lee. The ball got in on him. And he popped it up, and it's caught by Phillips. One out. Brings up Ramirez, who's 1 for 1. Mention all these matchups, Harang and Zambrano. Aaron Harang 3 and 2 of the 5.11. The previous 6 matchups. Z just 1 and 4 with a 6.88. I don't know if that really means anything. They're really facing the other team's offense, even though they do bat. But Harang has been just a little better. Both guys have struggled, though, in these matchups. Not today so far. It's looking like a pitcher's day. That's in there on a slider.
The winds ever so slightly are starting to shift a little bit, blowing maybe out a little bit to left field as this game progresses.
Dave Bush is through 7 with his no-hitter intact in Philadelphia. 5-0 Milwaukee. 97 pitches. He has 6 outs to go. We'll keep you posted. Inside.
That's one of those ones that'll give managers heartburn. You got a guy early in the season. I would assume Dave Bush is not on any kind of a pitch limit today, as long as he continues to be effective. I'm sure that he'll continue to go back out there, but when you've got one of your starters on a short leash and he goes out there and starts racking up no-hit innings, that's tough.
Bruce hustling in, and he'll get there. Pledge your allegiance to the Cubs by becoming a member of the Cubs Club, the official online fan club for diehard Cubs fans. Cubs Club members receive several exclusive benefits, such as a subscription to 2009 MLB.com Game Day Audio, special merchandise, and much more. To join today, visit Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. Off power with a big swing. Every time Micah swings, it looks like he's trying to put one onto Sheffield. He has that classic left-handed pull hitter's home run swing. And he had it working last year. Had a huge year at Iowa. Continued to hit in the majors. 25 homers in 71 games in AAA. Phillips and Votto. Phillips calling him off, and he takes it. Leadoff single, but Kosuke never did get to second base. 1-0 Cincinnati.
They got nothing. There she is.
Hi, Gail.
What's up, Gail?
Good.
Right. You know, you'd like to think that at some point the offense is going to break through against Aaron Harang. Maybe the Reds will kick a ball or two out there defensively. But Carlos is doing his thing. He's throwing the ball extremely well. Has great movement on his sinker today.
Try to help his offense in this half inning. He'll bat third behind Soto and Fontenot. They have 3 hits, 2 singles and a double. Soto grounds it foul. Got their hockey facial hair working.
Either that or they're in the witness protection program, one or the other. I think
hockey fans remember Harold Snepps. He had that look, bushy mustache.
Harold Snepps.
Yeah,
that's a new one for me.
Remember that name?
I can't say I'm familiar with that.
Oh yeah. Wouldn't hesitate to drop the gloves. Tappers, Gio will hustle, Harang will throw. Good stretch by Votto. A less than perfect bounced toss from the pitcher.
Actually turned out to be a pretty nice play by Aaron Harang. He's not known for his athletic ability bouncing off that mound and does a short hop to Joey Votto at first base. But as you mentioned, he stretches out there in the infield, gets a hand down to balance himself and keep that right foot on the bag and makes a nice play. I'll tell you, there's a chance, Len, with the extra weight that Harang was carrying last year, that he wouldn't make that play.
Good point. Fontenot out to deep center. Taveras gets there. We've seen Willie Taveras run down a couple of them.
It was shaded over in the gap in left center. Had a long way to run for that ball, but turned it into a relatively routine catch at just a step or two in front of the warning track in straightaway center. Man, does he cover some ground out there.
Dave Bush has lost his no-hitter. Former Cub Matt Stairs is a pinch hitter. Hit a home run. So it's 6-1 Milwaukee. So they broke it up in the 8th inning. And I believe 1 out. Dave Bush took a no-hitter into the 8th a year or 2 ago as well. Nice catch by a fan in the front row. Both the bat and the ball missed the pitcher, but the ball fielded by Phillips, and he gets a hustling Zambrano for the third out. Another quick 9-pitch inning for Aaron Harang. Watch the bat and the ball going by the mound. Still 1-0. As we get set for the 6th, with the Reds leading 1-0 for playoff beards.
About as evenly matched a pitching performance as we've seen this year between Zambrano and Harang. Carlos has thrown 66 pitches, Harang 63. Big Z does have 5 strikeouts to Aaron Harang's 1, but they've each walked 1 batter, and so far the only run in the game is on the board for the Reds.
Called strike on Taveras. Final in the AL, Cleveland 5, Kansas City 2. Kerry Wood got his 3rd save. Mark DeRosa, in case you're wondering, he's struggled to start the season. 0 for 4 today. Mark at 212 on the season. Lined and a base hit. Saturday night, Game 5. Joel Quenneville and the Blackhawks back at the Madhouse on Madison with hopes of putting out the Flames. Coverage starts with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. Blackhawks hosting the Flames. Game 5 Saturday night at 7. Right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. A great second period comeback by the Hawks last night. The Flames got a late goal. And they head back here tied at 2-2.
Have to be thinking sack bunt here.
And normally Dusty would just have Willie Taveras steal second base, but as you pointed out right off the top today, Carlos is as difficult to steal off as any starter in the game, especially a righty. Dusty knows that very well.
Yes, indeed.
Taveras' goal is to steal 100. He's 3 for 3 this year. I mean, it sounds crazy in this day and age that somebody would steal 100, but you go back to the 80s and it happened quite a bit. The last 100 steal season, I'll give you the year, 1987. You know the player. And I'll give you the number of steals, 109. I looked it up.
I guess Vince Coleman.
You are correct.
A lot of those are probably against me.
Thanks to baseballreference.com for that info. 1-1 the count on Chris Dickerson. I mean, Taveras last year had 68 stolen bases. His on-base percentage is .308. He had 538 plate appearances. So if he gets 650 plus plate appearances and his on-base is a lot higher than .308, theoretically he could steal 100. He better get moving. The Cubs wouldn't mind if he tries to go. They like their chances with Z and Soto.
I was just thinking that same thing, you know, against the guys who want to steal bases.
He threw it away, and Taveras is going to try to get to third. Here's a throw by Lee, and it'll be late. An error on Zambrano. So the Cubs pitchers have committed 3 errors the last 2 days.
He just tries to catch Taveras walking off the bag over there at first base with his head down. Really, Taveras only about a step and a half off the bag, and the throw got away from Derek Lee, and that is absolutely not what Big Z had in mind. You got a guy on base that wants to run and wants to steal a base. Go ahead against Carlos. You know, once he comes set, gets rid of that ball quickly. As a catcher, you love your chances.
Well, the other thing is, you know, the Reds were thinking about the sacrifice and getting him to second. They're probably not going to get Taveras at second anyway, so a big lead really wasn't as important. At any rate, he's at third, and Z looking for a strikeout pitch. Have you seen a lot of guys go first to third faster than Taveras just did? It was a blur.
Yes, it was. He gets up to top speed in a matter of a couple of steps. Turned that corner out there at second base. It's kind of a lost art in the game. I mean, not only to be fast, but to be a good base runner. Cut the corners properly. Run when you should run. Don't run when you shouldn't run. I love to watch those fast guys on the bases.
Topped to first, and it kicks foul. Derek wanted that ball to be fair because Taveras was holding. And he would have had an easy play to get Dickerson. But it hit the lip of the grass. Shot foul.
I mean, even the players in the dugout, when there's a burner up at the plate and he hits a ball in the gap, guys will get up on the edge of their seat or get up to the edge of the dugout. They like to watch the fast guys run the bases too. In the case of Willie Taveras, we hope he runs into an out somewhere, but it's fun to watch those fast guys run the bases.
Got him. Called strike 3.
Sinker, probably not the location Big Z was looking for. That pitch was up around the belt. It did tail right back over the heart of the plate.
And Lou came out of the dugout pretty quickly to talk some strategy here. I'm sure the issue is, do you want to walk Votto and set up a double play? What do you do here? Well,
you know Carlos wants to challenge every hitter in the National League. He doesn't like to give in to anybody, but it would seem that strategically that would be the move to make. Joey Votto, a tough left-handed hitter. He's not the kind of guy I believe that you're going to be able to pitch around and get him to chase bad pitches and get himself out. And if that's the case, go ahead and put him on. Take your chances with Encarnacion.
Encarnacion is grounded into 1 double play this year, 13 last season. And Encarnacion is a fly ball hitter. More fly balls and ground balls. Infield will come in. So at least to start this sequence, they'll go after Votto.
not sure if you can really quantify how many points it adds to a batter's batting average when you bring the infield in, as the Cubs have here, but certainly it makes Joey Votto a better hitter. A guy that hits the ball on the barrel most of the time. The infield's reaction time is cut down so much because they're playing in. I've heard people say it adds 100 points to a batter's average when you bring that infield in front of the baseline the way the Cubs are right now. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but you can see the point.
Well, that would make sense. Give the batter a lot more room between the infielders and the outfielders. And when you bring the infield in, you're really not trying to get the hitter, you're trying to get a runner. Fans encouraging Z on a 1-2. Squirts away, but not very far from Soto. They'll check. Votto held up.
A real good pitch on the 1-2 count. Throw a ball down the dirt, try to get the swing, and Votto did check. I thought with the naked eye that he went around on that pitch, but he was able to hold back.
Fly ball deep, Soriano back on it, and it's going to one-hop the wall. Taveras able to trot home, and Votto has a standing double. It's 2-0. Well, the two lefties have come up with the big hits. Actually, the three lefties, Dickerson with the triple, Bruce the RBI single, and now Votto knocking in Taveras.
Well, look at Giovanni Soto after that pitch was delivered. He sets up outside, reaches all the way across the plate back to the inside part. But Votto with that inside out swing splits the gap in left center. It's easy to say now because he drove in a run with a double, but I said it at the time. I just don't like pitching to Joey Votto right now. He looks like he's locked in. Everything he hits is hard. I would have taken my chances with a double play ball from Encarnacion, even though he's a fly ball hitter. Certain guys, coming into a series, certainly the Cubs knew about Joey Votto. They knew about other guys in the lineup, Brandon Phillips and so forth and so on. And you look at the numbers, and certainly you can glean something from that. But even more importantly, you watch how guys play through the first part of the series. And so far in this series, Joey Votto has been by far the most locked-in Reds hitter.
Well, that will not be an error, but that's the second time Z has thrown one away on a pickoff attempt. All the way into center, but because Votto had to dive back to the bag, he wasn't able to move to third.
A pitcher never has to throw the ball to second base. You can't balk back there to second, and looked like Fontenot was late breaking over from his position at second base, but Carlos went ahead and delivered the ball high to second. Fortunately, Votto went back in on his belly and couldn't get to his feet very quickly. Giovanni Soto just trying to settle Carlos in a little bit here. Things have kind of slipped away in this inning with the base hit by Taveras and then the error on the pickoff attempt. Missed his spot badly on the pitch to Joey Votto when he drove in the run on the double, and then another bad pickoff attempt at second base. And Giovanni Soto just wanted to try to settle his right-hander down, focus on what you have to do now to get out of this inning.
Golfed into center field, and Kosuke will pull it in. 2 outs. Jay Bruce with an RBI single to put the Reds on the board in the 4th. They've added on to make it 2-0 here in the 6th.
There's another guy I would have to think seriously about pitching around or possibly even walking intentionally with a base open. Brandon Phillips in the on-deck circle. Phillips has struggled in this series, has not been swinging the bat well. Jay Bruce has been locked in up there.
Bruce was a first rounder in 2005. He's from Beaumont, Texas. Late 0-2. He had over 30 scouts attending all of his high school games as a senior at Westbrook High School.
Why? I have to see this guy once and you know he's a ball player.
Maybe they just like to watch him play.
It's a nice ballpark. Good concession stand at that high school field.
There have been some Larry Walker comparisons. People talk about Jay Bruce. 1-2. The pitch. Another checked swing and another appeal for naught by the Cubs. 2-2.
Pick up a ball in the dirt by Giovanni Soto. Keeping Votto out there at second base.
It'll be a wild one on Z. Wasted a 2-2 to get it to full.
Ball looked like it might have caught a piece of the front lip of home plate. The home plate is not always exactly level with the dirt. Sometimes that front lip of home plate will stick up just a little bit, and when you go down and attempt to block the ball, it doesn't always bounce exactly where you think it's going to. Catchers will go out before the ball game starts or between innings and pack a little dirt down in front of that front lip of home plate just to make sure they don't get those awkward bounces.
The 3-2 ground ball to Fontenot. This will end the inning. 2 hits and another run. The Reds now lead 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Top of the Cubs lineup coming up. Bats. Last night it was Johnny Cueto and company. Today Aaron Harang, the ace of the Reds. At the top of the order coming up with the Cubs down 2-0. Here we go. Soriano takes ball 1. Bounced in front of home plate. Fonzie doubled in the third, but then he was picked off by Harang. Cubs have put 2 men in scoring position. That's been it. Ramirez in the second, Soriano in the third. Been a while, almost 2 full games for the Cubs without a run. Well, they give Soriano a lot of room in the gap in left center. Taveras shaded toward right center. He hits it the other way. Bruce goes back toward the corner, and it's just foul.
That's a ball that would normally end up well into the bleachers down that right field line, but that wind blowing across from right to left field kind of held it up, almost let it drop into fair territory. Comes right down that retaining wall, and as we've showed you many times, not a lot of room down there. Just foul, I guess.
No argument from the Cubs. We've seen a couple balls in each corner drop foul, barely, in this series. I want to send out get well wishes to a young Cub fan, Will Curson. Hope you're feeling better, Will. Happy birthday wishes to Mike and Matt Iams, Cary, Illinois. Big Cub fan Dan Castor from North Aurora, Illinois. Mentioned the birth of his son Ryan last year, and Ryan's now a year old, April 23rd. Still full 3-2 on Soriano. One year ago today, the Cubs grabbed their 10,000th franchise win in the regular season. Base hit in the left. Ryan Dickerson had some trouble with it. Soriano slides in safely. A single and an error on Dickerson. Heads up base running by Alfonso. He's at second with no outs.
Well, a breaking ball strike from Aaron Harang, and Soriano once again, hard ground ball, actually a line drive through that left side. Dickerson with a long run to get to it. Just clanks that ball off the heel of the glove, and Fonzie going hard out of the batter's box, able to stretch it into second base. That'll go down as a hit and an error on Dickerson in left field.
Terrio looking for a hit, but he'd like to hit the ball the other way at the very least. Awkward swing. He has flied to center twice. He pulls it foul. Joey Votto, I noticed, way off the line at first.
Way off the line and fairly shallow for Ryan Terrio. He may back up now with 2 strikes on Terrio, but he was playing in such a position that if Terrio hit a hard ground ball to the right side, right at Votto, he probably would have had a play on Soriano at third base. One of the things you have to be careful of as a runner at second base, you can't always automatically advance on a ball hit to the right side. It's so important, and you see the base coaches, Mike Quade and Matt Sinatra, all the time reminding the base runners, look around, see where your outfielders are, see where the infielders are playing, have an idea where everybody is defensively, so as soon as that ball's put into play, you know whether they're going to have an easy play, are they going to have to move to the right or left, or is it through into the outfield for a base hit.
Long Long look by Harang. Has a sign of his battery mate. Not even looking at the runner at second. Base hit up the middle. Soriano will be sent by Mike Quade. Taveras with a throw. It's cut off by Gonzalez. 2-1.
Early in the sequence, it didn't look like Ryan Theriot was trying to advance the runner, but with 2 strikes, that inside-out swing gets a ground ball back up the middle of the field. You know, Taveras has a strong arm. That throw was going to be low, probably hit the backside of the mound, so Gonzalez cut it off way out there at second base.
Kosuke lined to second in the first. Single to right his last time up. Encarnacion in on the grass. There goes Theriot. Straight steal attempt. And a perfect throw by Hernandez. Well, it looked like Theriot had that bag stolen, but Ramon Hernandez with a perfect throw to get him. Is that a good pitch to throw on, the one that's up a little bit on a fastball?
Pitch up a little bit and preferably on the right side of your body, but Hernandez just does everything right there. His throw is just perfect. Theriot had nowhere to go but slide right into the tag that time.
The Cubs now have been caught as many times as they've been successful in the stolen base category. 7 for 14. It's 2-0 on Fukudome. Only 1 out. You hope that's not a momentum killer.
I mean, you understand Ryan Theriot wanted to get himself into scoring position for the guys in the middle of the Cubs order, but the way Fukudome has been swinging the bat this year, we mentioned it his last at bat. He's been pulling a lot of balls to the right side.
He lines out right at Gonzalez. Just like that, 2 outs. Want to show the world it's not like, it's love? Put your favorite team logo out there for everybody to see with MLB banking only from Bank of America. Official bank of Major League Baseball. Visit bankofamerica.com/MLB. Slider strike on Derek Lee. A final from Phillies, 6-1 Milwaukee. Phillies ended up with 2 hits. Dave Bush 7 2/3. 2 hits, 1 run. Home run by Matt Stairs broke up the no-hitter in the 8th. 0-2 now. Cardinals 11, Mets 5 in the bottom of the 7th. As the Cardinals shoot for the sweep in that series. A little bit outside. Swing and a miss, and that's the inning. They do get 1 to break the shutout streak, but they still trail by 1. 2-1 Cincinnati. Carlos Zambrano doing what Ted Lilly did last night, just trying to keep his team around. A team that has struggled in the run scoring department in the final 2 games of this series. It's 2-1 here in the 7th, and it's 1-1 on Willie Taveras. Rather, Brandon Phillips leading off for the Reds. He'll be followed by Ramon Hernandez and then Alex Gonzalez. Cubs legend Ron Santo will conduct our 7th inning stretch today. Foul pop. Two and two. It's high and it's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Phillips just a little tardy on that Zambrano fastball. It's just a little trouble getting it untracked in the early going this season. We mentioned earlier Dusty moved him out of the 4 spot down to the 6 spot, something that Lou anticipates doing with Milton Bradley when he returns from the groin injury, just to take a little pressure off.
And he was able to hold his swing. That's a leadoff walk. Number 2 for Z.
Went up the ladder that time. I don't think that was an intentional pitch up there shoulder high, but Phillips starts the bat and then holds it on that back shoulder. Leadoff walk.
Going to change things up a little bit. Our 7th inning stretch guest. Because Ron has other things to do. He's on the radio too. So he's going to talk with us here in the top of the 7th. We'll get him ready to sing. 3-part harmony today, maybe. I don't know if we. I don't think we told you, Ron. The 3 of us are going to. No.
Oh, that's good.
No. You're on your own. Actually, as you said before the game, you have 41,000 fans helping you out.
That's exactly right. And of course, you're a singer. So.
Well, no.
And
not very good.
PB's a guitar player.
Yes, he is.
And I'm sure both of you can sing.
Base hit to center. It's been a tough day for the offense as it was last night, Ron. And these starters doing their best to keep the Cubs in it.
I know it, and when you're not hitting and you're not scoring runs, and what was it, 17 innings, something like that?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you get a run, and then you get thrown out at second base. So we haven't got anything really going yet, and we need somebody to pick it up. Like take one out of the ballpark.
That certainly wouldn't hurt anything because the Cubs just haven't been able to put anything together as far as a walk and then a hit and then maybe another hit and take advantage of a defensive mistake. That inning that just keeps rolling. We haven't had too many of those in the early going.
And another base hit. And it kicks away from Hoffpower. This is all kinds of trouble. Phillips is in. Hernandez is going to be sent. And Micah had a little more trouble trying to pick it up. And Gonzalez all the way to third base. A single, an RBI, and an error on Hoffpower.
We talk about it all the time. You got a guy playing out of position out there in right field. That ball tends to find him. He tried to charge that ball, play it on the second hop, just hit off the thumb of his glove, got behind him. Man.
We noticed the other day Micah looked very comfortable in pursuing balls in right as Harang bounces to Fontenot, and that'll keep Gonzalez at third. But today, Ron, Micah has not looked nearly as comfortable out there.
Not at all. And his position, of course, is first base. And but he wants to play every day. He's going to be a good ball player. There's no doubt about it. He's a good hitter. And but there's certain fields you can play right field in, and this one's a tough one, but it seemed like he has been doing a good job.
It's now 4-1 Reds, and it's Willie Taveras with the infield in. Gonzalez with a pretty big lead down there at third, and it's smothered by Soto. Bob mentioned something earlier I wanted to ask you about. You saw a lot of really fast players during your era. Bob did as well. Not nearly as many guys like Willie Taveras and Joey Gathright these days. They really stand out when you see a guy like Taveras go first to third.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot of speed in my day, and I'm sure in Bobby's day. Those guys really stand out. And, you know, I'm surprised Bruce runs real well. So does Votto. So it's amazing.
I think just the nature of the game, teams pay a lot more attention to base runners now. That's part of the reason you don't see as many stolen bases. But
and the throw will go to the plate. They got it. So they sent Gonzalez in on the squeeze, and they were able to get that runner at the plate.
That was a nice play. Wow.
I'll tell you, that's one of those plays you work on in spring training, and rarely does it ever work in a game at game speed. But we know what a great athlete Carlos Zambrano is, not only gloving it, but has time to shovel it with his bare hand onto Giovanni Soto, blocking the plate. And no kind of a giveaway there by Gonzalez at third base or Taveras at the plate. That's just a great defensive play.
All right, Ron, we're going to help you out here.
Okay.
That third out's recorded. We'll get you settled.
Good.
Paul Friedman will introduce you. You and Gary will take over. Samardzija just called up, along with Neil Kotz in the bullpen. There's Dickerson at the plate. 2 more in for the Reds. They now lead by 3. Taveras running, called strike, throw not in time. He figured after he bunted into a fielder's choice on a suicide squeeze that Taveras was going to try to make something happen.
Got a good jump over there at first base. That was a pitch that was on the left side of Giovanni Soto, and just that little extra amount of time it takes to get that ball from the left side of your body to your throwing hand. That's all Taveras needed to leg out a stolen base.
Dickerson scored their first run after a triple, later knocked in by Bruce. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Time to sing the stretch with Ron.
The ball game is Cubs legendary third baseman Ron Santo.
All right. All you wonderful Cub fans, let me hear you. This game is not over yet. All right. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jams. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the commies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it, at the old ball game. All right, let's get some runs.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The start of the 6th inning
Swinging strike on Aramis Ramirez. Ron got the crowd going. Cubs trail by 3. An unearned run among the 2 for the Reds in the top of this inning. Hit foul.
A lot of first pitch fastballs from Aaron Harang the first time through the Cubs order. A lot of off-speed breaking balls here the second and third time through the order.
Last time out for Harang, he gave up 5 runs and 6+, but the start before that, a 3-hit complete game shutout against the Pirates. Off power and Soto to follow. Milton Bradley is available off the bench to pinch hit today, even though he wasn't available to start. Tavares, 1 out. Tonight, another huge night here on Comcast Sportsnet. At 6 on Comcast Sportsnet Plus, Carlos Quentin and the White Sox will slug it out with the Orioles in Baltimore. At 6:30 here on Comcast Sportsnet, Rookie of the Year, Derrick Rose and the Bulls are back on the west side. Game 3 with the Celtics series tied at 1 apiece. Another huge night of action beginning tonight at 6 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. 1-0 on Michael Hoffpowers at a tough day out in right. Carlos Beltran with a 3-run homer for the Mets. It's 12-8 Cardinals. And the top of the 8th inning.
When you think about that play that Michael Hoffpauir had to make out there in right field, it's really the first time he had to multitask. Not only did he have to get over in position to field that 2-hopper, he had to make a strong throw to the plate and maybe got just a little bit ahead of himself. When he's had to just catch a fly ball or field a ground ball, he's been pretty smooth. But that time maybe rushed just a little bit, getting ready to unload that ball to home.
Base hit for Micah, his first of the day.
The Chicago Cubs strongly encourage the use of public transportation. The CTA Red Line stops directly at Wrigley Field at the Addison Station. For drivers, DeVry University offers remote parking and bus service for just $6. For more details, visit Cubs.com or call the CTA hotline at 773-836-7000.
Harang to Soto. 1-0. I love the quote from Giovanni Soto near the end of spring training. Talked about last year being last year. Oh man, 6-4-3 double play. So much for that. Cubs did get a hit, but no runs. Harang cruising along with a 4-1 lead. Net crew from Wrigley Field. The Reds trying to take this series. The Cubs have not yet lost a set, but that is in jeopardy as they trail 4-1 late. And Neil Kotz has struggled throwing strikes lately. Try to work out the kinks here. And he'll face a couple of lefties in this inning. Votto and Bruce. In between, it'll be Encarnacion. Zambrano in 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 were earned. So it is a quality start. Technically 2 walks, 7 Ks. But that guy's been better. Aaron Harang. 1-0 pitch. Now 2-0. Bob, another happy birthday wish goes out to Wrigley Field. Today, the 95th anniversary of the first game played and what was then noted as Weigman Park. The Chicago Federals beat Kansas City behind Claude Hendricks. Federal League played here for the first 2 years, 1914 and 1915. The Cubs have been here since 1916.
Well, happy birthday to Rick.
Happy 95th. 3-1.
Now, Lou was talking about Neil Cott's control problems the other day after the ball game. Said he just wanted him to go out there and trust his own stuff. Thought he was aiming the ball a little bit, trying to miss bats and nibble around at the edges of the strike zone instead of just trusting the movement on his pitch. Throw it in the zone with some movement and let your defense work behind you.
Skied foul off to the left. Sign up for a subscription to Vineline, the official monthly magazine of the Chicago Cubs. Only Vineline offers exclusive coverage from spring training all the way through the Cubs' next postseason run. Visit the Vineline blog as well, Cubs.com, and order today. Looking forward to the feature on Kosuke Fukudome in the current issue. Speaking of Kosuke, he's tracking back on the warning track, and it gets out. The wind may be helping that ball a little bit. But Neil Kotz gives up a leadoff home run to make it 5-1. We saw some balls hit a lot better than that the last 2 days that did not get out. But Votto has 3 extra base hits, and again he kills the Cubs. It's his second RBI today.
Yeah, we knew Joey Votto was pretty good last year when he finished second to Giovanni Soto in the Rookie of the Year balloting, but I think this guy is going to be one of the premier hitters in the National League for a long time to come. He has a great eye at the plate. He's got power to all fields, and he plays in a bandbox that's really suited to his swing. It's always puzzling to me, and I know you have to use all your pitches, but Neil Kotz comes in, and as you mentioned, he's got an opportunity here to face 2 out of the first 3 hitters being left-handed. He did throw a breaking ball to Joey Votto, all fastballs. Now, he tried to move him in and out. He wasn't hitting his spots consistently, but it seems to me at some point in the sequence you need to throw that slider just to get the hitter off of your fastball. Neil challenged with one heater after another, and eventually Joey Votto timed him up and took him out of here to left field.
Really late swing by Encarnacion. Got him on strikes. In terms of relief pitching, would it be safe to say the 2 things managers don't like to see are walks and home runs? I mean, those are the 2 biggest taboos, right? Don't give them freebies. Keep the ball in the park.
Yeah, I mean, you understand that this is the major leagues, and these are major league hitters, and occasionally they're going to get their base hits, but especially your late inning close guys, your 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guys do not want to see base on balls, and you prefer that all the hits stay in the ballpark. At least gives your defense a chance then. We had a left-handed specialist, Mike Myers, in Arizona for a while, and I think people were operating under the misconception that because you're a left-handed specialist, you should always get out every left-hander. And that's not necessarily the case. If you can limit the damage, you can keep a Joey Votto in the yard, maybe give up a single, but then get a ground ball, get a double play, get yourself out of the inning. It isn't always about consistently always getting out the left-handed hitter. It's limiting the damage that those guys can do.
And mitigating their advantage with a righty. Yep. Bonto throws out Bruce.
I mean, it'd be nice if your left-handed specialist always got out every left-handed hitter he faced, but that's just not going to happen.
Well, the one thing you never see when we talk about righty-lefty splits, we get into September and we say, this guy is batting average against him is 0. No, if you're in the low 200s, high 100s, that's really good.
You know, speaking of the righty-lefty splits, you know, one of the things that Lou and the Cubs wanted to do this winter was get a little more balanced, and I understand it's very early in the season. It's way too early to draw any conclusions. But in the early going against right-handed pitching, coming into play today, the Cubs were only hitting 249. Against lefties, 262. You know, that was the number you hoped would go up a little bit, that number against right-handed pitching. As Phillips grounds one past Ryan Theriot into center field. And now gets away from Fukudome.
And will turn into an out. I think the Cubs be that happy about some loose defense today, so they do get the out at second to end the inning. Reds add on the leadoff homer by Votto at 5-1 Reds. Cincinnati. Rubber game. Getaway day for the Cubs. They're off to St. Louis for the weekend. 1 ball, no strikes on Mike Fontenot. Here's how the top of the inning ended.
Now, Fukudome came in and scooped the ball up in the webbing of his glove as he went to transfer into his throwing hand. That ball just got loose. Fortunately, his momentum was carrying him right where the ball was rolling. Made a nice recovery and throw to Fondo to get the out at second base. Time to go with those bats here. Reds have double-barreled activity in their bullpen.
Hernandez held it a little longer but didn't get the call. Arthur Rhodes, David Weathers. Lefty and a righty. The Reds couldn't beat Carlos Zambrano last year. Aaron Harang had a really tough time against the Cubs. Things have turned around so far today. Harang was 0-3 versus the Cubs last season. Well, Mike has hit a couple foul balls off the top of the screen, which is really tight, and first one came back and I think hit the home plate umpire James Hoy. The second one almost hit Mike in the helmet. We get a good view of it up here, but they're usually not paying attention to it down there.
But just the way that backstop is angled, those foul balls tend to hit and bounce right back where they came from. Good emergency swing that time by Mike Fontenot, just staying alive. Borderline pitch from Aaron Harang was way too close to take. Spoil it and force the big right-hander to throw one more.
Ground ball, Gonzalez up with it late. Infield hit, Mike Fontenot.
Well, there's a start. Ground ball back up the middle of the field. Gonzalez shows his range and athletic ability, but too much speed by Fontenot. Cubs have the leadoff man on.
Dusty Baker headed out to the mound. Harang just over 100 pitches on the day. And Dusty's going to go with the sinker baller David Weathers. So Harang exits with a 5-1 lead. And we'll be back. Select dates throughout the season. Tickets are $25. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Cubs designated charities. For more info or to purchase tickets, go to Cubs.com. Weathers in for the second straight game as he faces pinch hitter Aaron Miles. Miles batting for Cots. Weathers gave up a single but no runs in the 8th last night. Pulled foul.
If possible, you'd like to make David Weathers get the ball up. As you mentioned, Lynn, sinker, slider, everything moving down, tries to work across the knees, in and out.
Aaron Harang finished with 2 strikeouts, the second of which was his 1,000th. Called strike 3. Might have been that swing back fastball, the 2-seamer that looks like it's going to be inside on a lefty and comes back over the plate.
Some people call it that comeback sinker, the off the body sinker. You started inside off the plate, the movement brings it right back to the inside corner, and more often than not that hitter freezes when he sees that pitch off the plate inside and then do nothing but stand there and watch it sail over the inside corner.
We're going to see Jeff Samardzija in the 9th. 0-2. This will be his 09 Major League debut. Jeff pitched really well in short relief last year for the Cubs. His first time around.
Rare pitch up above the belt from David Weathers. Soriano about came out of his shoes swinging at that pitch. You know, and I thought the matchup numbers would be much better for Soriano against Weathers because, as we mentioned, sinker, slider, everything down, down, down. But Soriano coming into this series was 3 for 11 lifetime. The only extra base hit, a double.
Fontenot will move up a base and a wild one.
Is just a little slow reacting to that breaking ball in the dirt out there. Kind of got caught in between whether to reach across and backhand it or slide out and try to block it. And because he was caught in between, he didn't do either one. Better job that time of smothering the pitch in the dirt. The line moving, Alfonso. Need another runner here. Cubs trail by 4. They just need base runners at this point.
Two on the way, hooked, foul. Couple of the 40,000, 39 in the ballpark. Eight pitches already seen by Soriano in this at bat. Here's number 9. Strike 3.
Just absolutely paints that outside corner, at least in the estimation of James Hoy, the home plate umpire. Perhaps Fonzie thought that pitch was a little bit off the outside corner.
Ryan with the only Cubs RBI, a single in the 6th, but then he was caught stealing. At that point, it was 2-1. The Reds would add on 2 in the 7th, 1 more in the 8th. Pitching matchups for the weekend in St. Louis. Ryan Dempster and Adam Wainwright tomorrow night right here on Comcast Sportsnet. You will be on assignment checking out the Peoria Chiefs in Milwaukee. Dave Otto will be filling in, and then you'll be back with me on Sunday. This is out of play. So Dempster looking for his second win. Wainwright comes in at 2-0. Lefty Sean Marshall against right-hander Mitchell Boggs late in the afternoon Saturday, and then Rich Harden and former Cub Todd Wellemeyer on Sunday.
And we're going to try to commandeer Miller Park for the Peoria Chiefs Wisconsin Timber Rattlers game tomorrow night. Cub fans came out in huge numbers last year to watch the Chiefs play here at Wrigley Field. Over 30,000 people came out to watch the Chiefs play against the Kane County Cougars, and this year it's up in Miller Park. The Iowa Cubs will be playing here at Wrigley Field later this summer.
Terrio broke his bat, and he's going to pop out to Brandon Phillips. So David Weathers came on and did his job. We're going to head to the 9th. Jeff Samardzija back with the Cubs. He'll pitch the 9th, trailing 5-1. Notre Dame star football player and baseball player Jeff Samardzija back from Iowa.
6 base hits in his 12 innings of work down at AAA Iowa. You see the opponent's batting average 154.
Cardinals coming off a sweep. They just beat the Mets 12-8, and they're 11-5. And Pujols with 2 home runs, and Rick Ankiel seems to be heating up. He hit his first today. But the Cubs took 2 of 3 last weekend. See if they can do the same at Busch Stadium. First things first, Samardzija to Ramon Hernandez, 2-0. Luis Vizcaíno was designated for assignment to make room for Samardzija. A ground ball through the hole on the left side. Hernandez has a second hit of the day. Alex Gonzalez with an RBI single in the 7th, his 999th career hit. So he's 1 away from a milestone. I don't know about you, Bob, but I don't really know what the Reds are. I don't know if their general manager Walt Jocketty and their manager Dusty Baker, if they know quite yet. I'm sure they're happy with their start. If they hold on, they'll improve to 9-6. We haven't seen Edinson Volquez yet this season, as Gonzalez is going to pop out to Fontenot. They haven't scored a lot of runs, but they've gotten a couple of big pitching performances, and I guess that's what they're going to hang their hat on.
And if their offense does get untracked at some point and they continue to win and continue to sit near the top of the division, that's going to make for some tough decisions for Walt Jocketty. I mean, is this a team that is rebuilding for the future, or is this a team that is going to contend in the Central Division this year? I think it's still way too early to answer that question. Certainly a lot of reason for optimism. As you said, they're getting some well-pitched games, good tail end of the bullpen, and some real good-looking young hitters, but I think that's a decision that probably won't be made until much later in the season.
If they do hang around, the thing that I do think helps them is what you just mentioned, the veteran back end of their bullpen. And if Weathers stays healthy, which he normally does, that's foul off the bat of Lance Nix. Arthur Rhodes from the left side, and then their closer Francisco Cordero. They give them a lead, they're going to hold it more often than not. Fastball missing, 95 from Samardzija. It's 1-2.
95 with a lot of movement. I mean, Jeff Samardzija is a guy really that needs to just aim that ball right for the middle of Giovanni Soto's chest protector and let it go wherever it wants to go. A lot of tailing, sinking action on that fastball.
Kind of a strange spring for Jeff, because he was in that 5th starter mix early on, and then once Sean Marshall was pretty much announced, Jeff was in that relief mix, got caught in the numbers game, and got sent down to Iowa to start, get his arms stretched out. Two and 2 the count. Last year in 26 relief appearances, he had a 2.28 ERA. He did give up 12 runs, but 5 were unearned. And for the most part, if you go back, I mean, he had a really good first year with Boise and Peoria. Struggled at High A Daytona, but after that, for the most part, his numbers have gotten better as he's gone up the chain. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And I think that's why we thought maybe, as you indicated, that his numbers might suffer a little bit going back to AAA from, the disappointment of not making the big league club. But to his credit, he went down and did everything they asked, and here he is again.
Hey, it stands to reason, if you really think about it, if a pitcher's got good stuff, and there's no question Samardzija's got good stuff, the higher up the food chain you work yourself, the better the defense is going to be behind you, the better the offense figures to be to score runs for you. So as long as you're not the kind of guy that's going to have your confidence rattled at the major league level. You figure to continue to do better the higher up the chain you move.
That one ripped into the left field corner by Taveras. The only thing holding him back is the guy in front of him, Ramon Hernandez. But he's going to score, and Taveras will probably have to head back to second, but he's going to run all the way around just in case.
Fonzie left that ball in the vines out there. It one hopped up into the dormant ivy. You see him just now going in to dig it out.
Well, that's a smart move by Soriano. If you don't know the rule out there, we'll tell it to you again, and it's happened a lot. If you reach in and you don't get it, you're stuck. But as an outfielder, just raise your hands or just keep running.
Yeah. I mean, really the right thing to do is stop, raise your hands, and let the umpire know immediately that the ball is stuck. He finally does. But that one was one I could clearly see from our vantage point up here. It just hit in the vines and stayed right there.
That will save a run for the time being, at least. Second and third. So Hernandez, who was at first, has to go back to third, and Taveras back to second. Dickerson swings and misses.
So Samardzija can retire Dickerson here and get his team back in the dugout without a red scoring. That might be the defensive play of the game right there.
Well, in all seriousness, I don't think Lou will be thrilled with the defense today. He had the error by Hoffpower in the seventh. A couple of wild pickoff attempts by Zambrano. Kosuke was not charged with an error, but a ball popped out of his glove as Phillips tried to stretch it, got thrown out at second.
You'd like to believe that's one constant that you have on your ball club is your defense. You're going to show up every day. You're going to make all the routine plays. You're going to make the occasional fantastic play to get your team out of a jam. And you'd like to believe as a manager every day you show up at the ballpark, that aspect of your game will be there. Pitching may come and go, peaks and valleys, same thing with the offense throughout the course of the year, but every manager will tell you you'd like to believe that defense is going to be there for you every day.
And a base hit, and the Reds will get those 2 runs. Courtesy of Chris Dickerson. Seven to 1.
That's the curse of a sinker ball pitcher. Sometimes you get a ground ball where none of your teammates can make a play on it. And that was the case with Dickerson. Good hard sinker down and over the plate, but he finds that hole back up the middle of the field past a diving Mike Fontenot to drive home 2.
Pulled away Tuesday for a 7-2 win, but they lost 3-0 last night, and they're getting pounded today. Blocked by Soto. Next meeting between these two clubs will be at Great American Ballpark, June 5th through the 7th. And Joey Votto had highlighted the Cubs on the schedule, considering how he hits against them. Look at that. Kosuke up and throwing, and Dickerson safe at third. Joey Votto has 4 more hits against the Cubs. It's the pat on the helmet from former Cub Billy Hatcher down at first.
That's when you know you're going good. I mean, Joey Votto has hit some screamers in this 3-game series, but just fought off a high pitch from Jeff Samardzija. Hit it off the end of the bat, little floater into shallow center, drops in front for a base hit. That's when you know you're going good.
Well, he has a 3-homer game against the Cubs, and now tying his career high with 4 hits. Samardzija is set, and the 2-0 pitch to Encarnacion, bounded foul. Cue shot. It's charged by Fontenot, and he gets the out. And the inning is over. But the Reds get 2 more on 4 hits. And it's 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Nick Massett will come on. A former White Sox. Started his career with the Texas Rangers. His first major league start was here as a member of the White Sox. It was his 20th career appearance, and he beat the Cubs. An excellent performance back in 2007. Ball 1 to Kosuke. Cubs are staring at a 4-4 homestand and their first series loss of 2009. Pitch, ball 4. The producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, Mark Brady. Our director, Dave Turner. Our associate producer today, Doug Stanton. Our stage manager of the booth, Christine Charbonneau. Josh Miller is our technical director. The tech manager, Mark Harper. The senior executive producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is Jim Corno Jr. Great work, as always, by our entire crew. Quiet day for Lee, 0 for 3, ball 1.
Reds are playing behind Fukudome down there at first base. Joey Votto starting off just off of Kosuke's hip and then backing up into a defensive position. Always felt trailing in a ball game. If you can steal that base and you're 100% sure you can take it, go ahead and take it.
Oh, that got through Encarnacion on what might have been a double play. A 6-run deficit, but you'll take anything you can get at this point. That's an error. That looked pretty routine.
I really did. Well, I'll take another look and see if that ball perhaps hit the lip of the infield and stayed down. Encarnacion usually pretty sure-handed down there. Well, he just misplayed it. Just came up with the glove too soon. Ball got underneath into left field.
It looked like he had 5-4-3 on his mind.
Yep.
Pretty quickly.
Well, make it hurt.
Would at least like to make Dusty have to get his closer up. Popped up, short left, and lands in the glove of Dickerson, 1 out. Micah 0 for 2 to start it and picked up his first hit in the 7th. So 1 out of 3. Fastball strike at 97. Good heat from Massett. It was acquired in the Ken Griffey Jr. deal back at the trade deadline of last year. Danny Richard, second baseman, also sent to the Reds. Dickerson charging, sliding and catching. 2 outs.
Good recovery by Chris Dickerson out there in left field. That ball was cued right off the end of the bat. Got a little bit of a late jump and made up for it with his speed and a nice sliding catch in shallow left field. I think he's going to try to backhand that ball all the way back into second base.
That leaves it up to Soto. 2 on and 2 down. Such a great weekend for Chicago sports. Things kind of turned around last night. Cubs and the Blackhawks losing. Cubs trailing today. And that'll do it. As the Reds take 2 of 3. 7-1 the final. Aaron Harang